Hello, everyone. Today is Valentine's Day. I wanted to take the opportunity to kind of clarify what is love. Okay, so we hear this word thrown around a lot. I love pizza. I love my wife. We've got love experts everywhere. Let's turn to the true authority. Let's turn to Scripture. So, what does the Bible have to say about love? I think this will really enlighten you and kind of clarify some things for you. So the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 13, if I speak in tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy, I can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor, and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. So love is vital. That's one of the things that's really easy to take away from this, from these few verses. Let's go ahead and keep going. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Where there is prophecy, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part, but when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. Okay, so love is eternal. Another thing you'll notice is there's a list of a lot of things that love is not. One of the things it's not is a feeling. Okay, so that's one of the most backwards things that we have in this country, is that this idea is promoted that love is this feeling that you get from being in a relationship with someone else. Okay, and that's where a lot of our problems in this country center around. So we're a union of mind and body. We have a soul, we have a body. Each one interacts with the other and affects the other. And yes, I do believe that there are a lot of hormones and chemicals that help you feel the way you feel. And there are thoughts that cause you to release these hormones. And I believe there's a spiritual component as well. But one of the things we have to realize is that love is not the feeling that accompanies love. Okay, so if you see here, love is being patient. It's not being envious. It's respectful. It's selfless. It's being selfless. It's being patient and tender and forgiving. So love is actually an action. Okay, it is when you are being loving, and that's where a lot of marriages fall apart and a lot of problems begin to grow in America. So many people have so many divorces because when they no longer feel a certain way anymore, they get divorced thinking, oh, we're no longer in love. I thought this was the one. I thought this guy was the one. I thought this woman was the one. But they're not. Because the feeling faded. Now, one thing I will say right off the bat, if you engage in loving activities, if you love the other person, remember, love's not a feeling, it's an action. If you treat other people in that loving way, if you love them, the feeling will come. I mean, you won't always have that feeling. In a human, to be in a constant state of like madly, intoxicatedly in love with someone, it actually would kill you. That's too much stress on your body, most likely. So it definitely wouldn't be good for you. So you're going to have times where you're not as loving and that feeling's going to fade, or just your body's tired or whatever. But if you are loving, if you are patient and tender and giving and selfless towards someone, I promise you those feelings will come. Okay? Maybe not like flipping a switch, but it will happen, okay? So here's the real issue. When you think love is a feeling, and you no longer feel that feeling for someone, so you're no longer in love, here's the problem. You got it all the way backwards, okay? So if you are with somebody because you feel that feeling, then in reality, you're not with them because you love them. You're with them because you can get something out of them. These people, this person makes you feel a certain way. You like to feel that way. Therefore, you love yourself. Okay? So when you feel that feeling, it's actually kind of the opposite of love. It's not selfless. It's not giving. It's all 100% focused on yourself. So that feeling isn't about loving someone else. It's about loving yourself. Okay? And so that's one of the most devastating things you can do in a relationship, is to end it because you don't feel that feeling anymore. If you don't feel that feeling anymore, it's your fault. You've stopped being loving. I promise you, if you begin to love that person, those feelings will return. Now, this kind of stems and trickles down to all kinds of things, okay? All kinds of issues that we have in this world. We get a lot of plays on words where during the big thing where gay marriage was made legal, you got these slogans going around that love wins. Well, I don't like that slogan. Regardless of what you feel about gay marriage, one day I want to do a video on gay marriage. But regardless of what you think, that's not love. Love doesn't win in that instance. Love is not sex. Okay, so I bring that up to bring this up. You can love people without having sex with them. I know that's a shocker. In America, those two things, obviously if you love someone, you got to have sex with them. And, also you're not a cool dude or an independent chick unless you're having sex with everybody anyway, regardless of whether you love them. So you basically just have to have sex all the time. And sex is how you are identified, and it's the most important thing about you, which is absurd, right? So obviously I'm being facetious, but that is what the world tells you. That's what we're being told right now. Sex it's supposed to be a physical manifestation of love, okay? But when we take it out of context, it's no more healthy for us than when we take food out of context. If I like ice cream and I eat it just for the flavor and I eat it nonstop all day long because I enjoy that flavor, it's going to kill me. I'm going to get diabetes. I'm taking food out of context. If you take sex out of context, that happens as well. So sex is meant for a man and a woman who are married, fully committed to each other, to share that tender, intimate experience together, to help them bond and grow closer and to love each other, literally giving, okay? And so that's another thing that, I don't want to get too far off and too many analogies going at once, but when you talk about porn, what's wrong with porn? Well, it teaches you to take sex out of context. And it's all about getting. What can I get? What can I get? No, it's about what can I give, right? Because it's supposed to be a physical manifestation of your love, right? It's not supposed to be a selfish thing. And also it teaches you all kind of really stupid stuff like, violence and sex and things like that, where really one of the most beautiful things in the whole world is having strength under constraint. It's the picture of the gospel. Jesus had all the power in the universe, yet he put his power under constraint and controlled it and sacrificed himself for us. Jesus said that there's no greater love than to lay down your life for someone, right? Love is an action, and it's selfless. Okay, so back to our gay marriage. What they really meant to say was my sexual preferences win. Okay, and that's a different story. I'll give you an example. If I'm a heterosexual male and I can find many women attractive, okay, I love my wife. I only want my wife. She's precious to me. But I can find tons and tons of women attractive. And maybe my most base desire as a human male might be to have sex with every woman I see that I find attractive. But that's not loving. Okay, so to love to love a lot of times is to not have sex, right? I only want to share that with my wife. I only want that feeling with my wife. I don't want to take it out of context. I want her and no one else. Okay. And finally, I'll just say this about love. So one of the things we get wrong in this country, we need more tough love. We're also facing a lot of problems with that, where we're actually denying reality in this country. Now, no offense to you if you're a person who identifies as transsexual, but if you take and put men in a women's prison because they say they're actually a woman inside. Number one, I go into in depth in this on this topic in my other video about how that's a logical impossibility. I go into that in another video. Here's the deal. If we let that person, because we don't want to hurt him, we want to love that person, we don't want to tell them they're not a woman, so we're just going to let every guy who claims to be a woman into women's prison. Well, it didn't take long, just like I said, and already there are women getting raped, they're getting pregnant, they're having abortions, because they're being tormented. Is that loving to let a person believe a lie? I think it's not even loving to let a person believe a lie. You need to tell those people the truth. If someone asks you a question and you don't want to hurt their feelings, but you know it's going to cause pain and suffering down the road, you're not being loving. The loving thing to do would be to tell that person, I don't care what you feel like on the out. It's to tell that person that it doesn't matter how you feel on the inside. This is a hardware issue. You have a male hardware. You go to the male prison. It doesn't matter, how you feel. What it matters is what is the real state of the matter. And then you don't have to worry about women getting raped in prison, because that is like the worst thing that I can imagine. These women have committed a crime. They're paying their punishment. But that punishment is not to be raped. Okay? So that's what I would say, is that sometimes we need tough love in this country. Criminals need to be prosecuted. They need to be put in the appropriate prisons. People need to be told the truth. Now, this is going to be a very, very unpopular thing, and I feel like I can say something about it without being too offensive, maybe, because I've always struggled with my weight. But when I'm gaining weight, is it loving for everyone to encourage me to get heavier and more unhealthy? Or is it loving for someone to say something that might hurt my feelings and encourage me and tell me the truth so that I will become healthier? So I don't recommend going around just trying to hurt everybody's feelings and telling everyone you see, but there are problems. Jesus says, point out, get out the log out of your own eye before you get the splinter out of someone else's eye. But in a close personal relationship, yes, you need to tell the truth to people. On a public level, you need to tell the truth to people. We don't need to encourage people to get more and more obese. That's not loving. It seems loving on the surface because you don't want to hurt that person's feelings. And trust me, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. That is not my goal. But to be truly loving is to tell the truth. So I don't think I should go up to everybody on the street who's overweight, because I'm overweight. But if it's not my business to go on the street, everybody on the street, and tell them they're overweight and hurt their feelings. But publicly, as a nation, we don't need to encourage it, and we do need to point out the health risks. Personally, if there are people in my life that trust me and that love me and I love them, I'm going to take advantage of that relationship and do what I can in that situation too. I'm not going to go out of my way to hurt them. But, at the end of the day, there is such a thing as tough love. If, a lot of times my children want things that are not good for them. And part of being a parent, as ugly as it is and as painful as it is, as a parent, you want to give your child everything they ask for. But you can't, because I want my children to grow up to be respectful and hard workers and determined and self-disciplined. And I want them to be healthy and mature and strong and focused, and all these qualities. I want them to be full of integrity. I want them to be able to withstand the hardships of life. I want them to be overcomers. I want them to achieve great things, to be successful. And so that's why that's why I punish them. That's why I try to teach them right from wrong. I try to teach them lessons. I say things that they don't like because I love them. No, you can't eat 200 pizza rolls. No, you can't have 10 bowls of ice cream in a day. No, I'm sorry. No, you can't steal that and take that from somebody else. I know you want it, but no, right? And so I have to say things that are not going to be received well. They don't seem loving on the surface, but I promise you it's the most loving. Okay, so that's what I had to say about love. Remember, guys, it is, remember everyone, it is not a feeling. It has nothing, the feelings can accompany it, but they may not. So just like safety, you can be safe, but you may not feel safe, or vice versa, right? So the feelings are helpful, but they are not love. Love is the actions that you do, the attitude that you maintain of being selfless and patient and forgiving. And one of our greatest models for that is Jesus Christ. So everyone, remember that on Valentine's Day and the days after. I'll try to get this video out at a somewhat timely manner. I have to record this stuff after work. Until next time, I'll see everyone then. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I would love it if you would join me here again for more.